you're asking for proof of Jesus, but you don't ask for proof of Hashem or Moshe or anybody else, okay? And you take that as faith.
Before. They've been solidified by
Analyst Joseph Baffy. Joe, great to have you with us. So the stock has been up more than Bitcoin itself.
Inflation, and they are an interesting market for other countries. So Brazil is an emerging market, and they have a lot of potential.
Potentia scientia est means knowledge is power in Latin.
Matt, how you doing?
Pretty good. At the shop for Shabbat.
Oh yeah, please. Your cakes.
I wanted to talk about my dessert I made. I made a butter Oreo brownie. Taking out to some friends tonight.
All by yourself?
Oh yeah, I cook a lot, but this one was fun. Mostly because it just gives people diabetes as you hand it to them. And they thank you for it.
You wouldn't have a problem based on him being dead, worshiping him if he's truly alive. And the claim is, he is truly alive. So if we can set that aside, now the discussion should move to, how do you prove he's alive? And I would say, fall on your face before God, repent, believe the gospel, and all this will be made clear, but you may have your own path.
I could see you've got a valid point. Like you have to have faith, right? And that's why it's called faith, belief. That's belief. Now, again, I would say, look, we could prove Abraham lived, but by many different religions that speak about him. There's many places that are in the Bible that are there that we find, and so on and so forth. So for me, that doesn't need to happen, because we're not clinging onto anything. We're not using another culture, another religion, another faith.
Wait, didn't you
to
say
solidify what we believe? Does that make sense? So I would say that you would have to build a premise and prove, because again, we're not making the claim that you're.
Did you not say yesterday that the Jewish faith has stolen some of the faith of other? Did you not say that yesterday?
So no, I say we have holes because we have other civilizations that have the same or similar.
You're in a room where there's a record on.
Right. So I mentioned Yahweh in the Sumerian pantheon and Asherah, right? And I said they had God's name. I said the Moabite tablet that has Israel and God's name. So I said, look, we have different places where the name's mentioned, and we have like the Sumerian books of the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Enemu Elish, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but the issue is you were saying, but there are aspects that you are even sus of Judaism for.
Right.
Because it takes.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree with that statement.
Why? Okay, if you agree with that, why are you critiquing Christendom for the same thing? That's irrelevant.
Yeah. So because these people, like do you know who the Shasu are?
Yes, I told you to go watch that video from Dan. I'm the one that told you to watch that.
You didn't give me a link, so if you put a link in, I'll watch it. So
no, but the Shasu people had the Yod Hey Vav and the glottal stop at the end. But this is around the 12th century. This is right around. Okay, we're derailing too far. My point is, if you're going to criticize your own, I know that you were secular and all of that, and now you're coming back to Judaism and you're criticizing and you're taking more of a critical, I get that, but you can't criticize Christendom for the same things that you just criticized Judaism for, but then turn to us and say, you should accept Judaism because it's an older religion. It logically doesn't follow.
Well, but the problem with that statement is that, look, Christianity comes from Judaism. Literally, the man that you see as God was a Jew, and he practiced Judaism. He went to synagogues. Now, if he wasn't a Jew, he wouldn't have been allowed to go into synagogues and teach. So it's clear and it's evident that he was an Orthodox Jew. So what I'm saying to you is, the person that you worship believed in Judaism, and that's enough for me, because if you're the person you see God as accepts Judaism, I don't need no more validation. But what I need to do is I need validation for your religion, see, because Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a Christian. If Jesus come back and said, look, I'm a Christian, so are you, he would look at you and be like, what are you talking about, right? You'd be like, no, I'm a Jew. So
but Christians
see the issue there.
So there's a lot of there's a lot of issues here. Like a lot of issues, right?
Just one.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Christian is inconsequential. Call us potato. We're potato if potato means follower of Christ. So like John 8:31, he told the Jews and the people who believe in him, if you remain faithful to my teachings, you are truly my disciples. So I would definitely wouldn't get hung up on man-made.
Okay, this is a meditation on joy. I'm going to read Yogananda Paramahamsa, or Paramahansa Yogananda. Peace. Peace flows through my heart and blows through me as a zephyr. Peace fills me like a fragrance. Peace runs through me like rays. Peace stabs the heart of noise and worries. Peace burns through my disquietude. Peace, like a globe of fire, expands and fills my omnipresence. Peace, like an ocean, rolls on in all space. Peace, like red blood, vitalizes the veins of my thoughts. Peace, like a boundless aureole, encircles my body of infinity. Peace flames blow through the pores of my flesh and through all space. The perfume of peace flows over the gardens of blossoms. The wine of peace runs perpetually through the winepress of all hearts. Peace is the breath of stones, stars, sages. Peace is the ambrosial wine of spirit flowing from the cask of silence, which I quaff with my countless mouths of atoms. Meditation on silence. My silence, like an expanding sphere, spreads everywhere. My silence spreads like a radio song, above, beneath, left and right, within and without. My silence spreads like a wildfire of bliss. The dark thickets of sorrow and the tall oaks of pride are all burning up. My silence, like the ether, passes through everything, carrying the songs of earth, atoms, and stars into the halls of his infinite mansion. Let me not drug myself with the opiate of restlessness. Beneath the throb of my heart, may I feel the presence of God's peace. I will fill my heart with the peace of meditation. I will pour heartfuls of my joy into peace-thirsty souls. All spiritually successful persons, such as Jesus, Babaji, Lahiri Mahasaya, Sri Yukteswar, Swami Shankara, and other masters, are manifestations of our one Father God. I am happy in the thought that my spiritual ambition to realize unity with God is one that has already been attained by all great masters. Each day I will meditate more deeply than yesterday. Each tomorrow I will meditate more deeply than today. I will meditate during most of my leisure hours. O Lord, with the soft touch of intuition, I will tune my soul radio and rid my mind of static restlessness, that I may hear thy voice of cosmic vibration, the music of atoms, and the melody of love vibrating in my superconsciousness. Today I will seek thee, O Father, as the ever-increasing bliss of meditation. I will feel thee as boundless joy throbbing in my heart. Finding thee, I shall find all things I crave through thee. Teach me to find thy presence on the altar of my constant peace and in the joy that springs from deep meditation. Bless me that I may find thee in the temple of each thought and activity. Finding thee within, I shall find thee without. In all people and all conditions, teach me to feel that it is thy smile manifesting in the dawn, on the lips of roses, and on the faces of noble men and women. God's flaming presence, I will do away with the mockery of perorating prayer. I will pray deeply until the darkness of meditation burns with thy flaming presence. Heavenly Father, I cannot wait until tomorrow for thy song. Today I will broadcast my soul call into the ether with such loving concentration that thou must respond through the receiver of my silence. O Spirit, ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss, take away from my mind the weight of indifference and forgetfulness. May I drink the nectar of thine ever-blessed presence. With the deepening of inner and outer silence, thy peace comes to me. I will try always to hear the echo of thy footsteps. Having thee as the deepest joy of deepest meaning, I know that all things, prosperity, health, and wisdom, will be added unto me. Teach me to fish for thee in the deepest waters of my soul. Find joy in God. No matter what causes it, whenever a little bubble of joy appears in your invisible sea of consciousness, take hold of it and keep expanding it. Meditate on it, and it will grow larger. Watch not the limitations of the little bubble of your joy, but keep expanding it until it grows bigger, bigger. Keep puffing at it with the breath of concentration from within, till it spreads all over the ocean of infinity in your consciousness. Keep puffing at the bubble of joy until it breaks its confining walls and becomes the sea of joy. In the sound of the viol, the flute, and the deep-toned organ I hear God's voice. Good morning. Hello?
Did you answer? I got an idea for you.
Huh.
Go get the car tuned up, oil checked, tires detailed, so it's ready. And buy Samantha and I both a Christmas present that's returnable for refund.
Uh-huh.
It's one way to get some of that money spent.
What?
I was thinking that the money you were talking about that you needed to spend was the tenant's money.
You're way overthinking this. I don't, I'm over here.
I thought I was on the money, but if I'm wrong, I just gave you a couple ideas that shot in my head while I'm cooking.
So you want me to go get my car tuned up and buy you a gift? I like your way of thinking, but I feel like I need to find a girlfriend that loves me.
Well, I do love you, and that's why I was thinking. Make sure that your car's in tip-top condition.
It's okay. I just got the battery replaced. I got the headlight replaced. I mean, the car's running. I'm not sinking money into it, because if I ever file a Chapter 7, you can only keep $4,000 in equity, and the car is probably worth like $6,000, $7,000. So I'd have to pay them to keep the fucking car.
Gotcha. The battery stays charged up by putting miles on it, and not just little short grocery store miles. And the fact that the temperatures are colder in winters there drains the battery.
I know.
I know that.
This is my second battery.
Here drains our batteries.
This is my second battery. I bought one last year. It just died on me, so I just had to buy a new one 2 days ago.
Didn't they guarantee it? It should have been under warranty. They got 1 year batteries.
It was just
2 year, 3 year.
It was just outside of the warranty. I think they sold me a shitty battery, like an old battery.
They sold you a cheap one. You asked for a cheap one. I know about batteries. My Subaru's had 4 since 2017, and that's due to Starlink having installed in the Subarus
Starlink?
some outdated equipment, and it drains the batteries. So there was a class action suit nationwide.
That's what I put a car alarm and a starter, and I'm pretty sure that the car alarm drains the battery.
Because it's on at all times.
Yeah, there's always a light blinking, and so it's constantly pulling from the battery.
And that's the same thing with the Subaru. It's constantly pulling.
Yeah. So when I sell this car probably next year, I mean, goodbye.
Yeah. Well, anyway, how'd you sleep?
I slept fine. I don't skip a beat. When I go to sleep, I'm tired and I'm, not in a bad state of mind. I mean, I go to sleep content every night, Well,
that's good.
Yeah.
Better than I do. I was wondering if it would be useful for me to throw some money at your utilities.
No, don't even bother. I am on a ship that is sinking. Why would you put money on a ship that is sinking?
Well, because I don't want the utilities shut off. The electricity is what runs the furnace.
Listen, the electricity...
It's not just gas, it's got an electrical hookup.
The electricity on the furnace is tied to the first floor unit.
Okay, so, is somebody paying that?
Yeah. Listen, do you think that things over here are just like falling apart? No, I mean, you're way overthinking.
I'm asking if you need that assistance.
Why would I need... Listen, keep it. Don't you get it? I'm a black hole. You're the sun of light. Just stay bright. Let my little dark hole, financially figure its way out through the black hole to get back to the light. It's gonna happen, but this will take time. And I'm not starving. Everything that needs to get paid is getting paid. Have faith in your son's brain. Your son's brain is operating at a pretty high level of understanding and action. I'm taking care of things.
it's got Max, M-A-X, grandfather Max, Max ability.
I'm reading an incredible book over here. Would you like to hear a verse from it?
Surely. Let me go turn my morning music down. Okay.
Your son John is an artist. I hate to tell you this, but like I can probably pull off what Pat is doing, but way better. You should be like my Andy Warhol mother, and be my publicist with regards to my artwork.
Oh, I come up with real artsy stuff for this house. I had a new idea last night. Use that long stick of copper water line, brand new, as my hardware for my curtains,
Mm-hmm.
and then get the other plumbing ends for the mount to the wall. Because I got left over a big stick, so why not use it that way?
Do you remember when I was young? We did this like yarn art project on styrofoam where we did like a wrapping, and then we framed it. Do you remember that piece of artwork we made today?
Yeah, it was orange. It had a lot of oranges in it, and I put it into an acrylic box.
Yep. I was so proud of that little thing when I was young. I was like,
I wonder where that went.
yeah, it was.
Did you get it back? Or did
I
Sam
thought
get it
you
back?
had it. I thought you had it hanging on your wall.
Not anymore. I did for decades, but I didn't bring it along at some point.
Mm.
Aw.
Well, okay, listen to this. This is a book I'm reading. This chapter is called My Beloved is Calling Me. With flowers, with bright skies, with the divine manna of joy and happy minds, with souls full of wisdom, with songs of the birds, with divine melodies in the hearts of men, my beloved is calling me to retrace my footsteps to his home of peace within. I will seek the kingdom of God and the joy arising from constant, long, deep, continuous meditation. I will conscientiously seek to find the Lord within, and will not be satisfied with the little imaginary inspirations that come from short, restless silences. I will meditate more and more deeply until I feel his presence. By realizing God, I shall be reclaimed as his child. Without asking or begging, I shall receive all prosperity, health, and wisdom. O thou perfume of all hearts and all roses, I mind not how many days of scalding sorrow cross the threshold of my life to search and test me. Through thy blessing, may they remind me of my errors, that I have kept me away from thee, protector of all. I care not if all things else are wrested away from me by my self-created destiny, but I shall demand of thee, mine own, to guard the slender taper of my love for thee. O glorious omnipresence, let not the fire of memory for thee be blown out by the gusts of oblivion rising from the whirlwinds of my worldliness. Through meditation, I will stop the storm of breath, mental restlessness, and sensory disturbances raging over the lake of my mind. Through prayer and meditation, I will harness my will and activity to the right goal.
Wow. Sounds like a constant journey.
It's written by...
But you know, that's not just using your experience you're going through right now.
This is my...
Impossible.
This is my hour...
To live like that.
This is my hour of power, Mom. You know, this
I
is
understand that.
my morning meditation.
But you know where it did take my mind? Living more free willy, like in Costa Rica.
Mom, my boyfriend is here. My boyfriend is here, Zach.
Oh,
Hello,
true?
Mrs. Kitover. I love your accent. I dated a girl from Chicago, and she called me Ziak.
Zach.
Oh,
Zach, my mom told me yesterday that I should find a gay guy off of Craigslist to come live in my apartment to secretly pay me cash so I can avoid the court order.
Yeah, just find a gay guy, and then you just hang out naked all day, and he gets gratification from watching you, and then he pays your rent.
okay, so there's Zach. Got it. Thank you for sharing.
This is so, Mom. I record a meditation in the morning, and Zach is a random person off the internet. He's a Jewish guy who lives in the East Coast. Him and we read wisdom books and we study God, as a morning meditation, and then we go work. So we're not gay. We like God. We're gay for God, happy for God.
Got it.
I have a
I
girlfriend.
love it.
Yeah, and he has a girlfriend, and I have a couple girlfriends.
Huh. Okay, so the point I made was America is a pretty sick jungle.
Yep.
Living in underneath all the
N-words
rules
and
and
F-words.
regulations and expenses. Maybe living somewhere like Costa Rica, I've been there a few times. Seems like those damn people are happy as hell. With very few cares. They live very leanly. But they also were all alcoholics.
Well, listen, the fact that I don't have to pay property taxes, that itself to me is like a gift from God.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
John.
but I'm afraid it's not gonna
Can we
be
just pause for a
eligible
second, John? I
for
just
much
noticed that my
longer.
friend, I'm sorry, Mrs. Kitover. What's your mother's name, John?
Jeannie.
Jeannie. I'm sorry, Jeannie. Can I just take this moment to recognize that a good friend of mine, Brusenhoff, is in the audience. And John, I can tell you more about this. I don't know if I want to divulge Brusenhoff, because Brusenhoff is a very good friend of mine who I met offline. He's not a Clubhouse friend. And Brusenhoff, I'm not going to use your real name on the app because I want to respect your anonymity, but I'll just refer to you as fucking Brusenhoff. But Brusenhoff, I invited you to this room 5 minutes ago because Jeannie, so this is what you have, there's a weird thing happening because I invited my friend Brusenhoff to this app because I think that he can benefit and enjoy this app. And Brusenhoff, I want you to know that my friend Joy Now, his real name is John, and he's currently on the phone with his mother, and his mother's being very patient while I explain this right now. But I invited you to this room like 10 minutes ago when John was reading a nice passage. I don't know what you were reading from, John, but I thought that my friend could enjoy it because it was about God or something. And Jeannie, what you have to understand is your son is providing great value to people like me and my friend Brusenhoff by reading this wisdom. So anyway, that's that. And Brusenhoff, welcome. I don't know if this room is what you want to be doing with your time anymore, but I love you, my friend.
So did I blow your piece? And if I did, I'm sorry. This is a continuing conversation from last night, and if I can help my son, I try, only from experience. But John's
You're
doing
a good
real
mom.
well with his spiritual life, I could tell you that. Okay, John, I'll say goodbye. I gotta get ready for the club.
Okay, Mom. Thanks for the call.
Call if you want to chat.
Okay, well, God bless. Talk to you
Bye,
soon.
Zach.
Good to
Bye-bye.
talk with you. You're a good mom. Yes, it's going to be very hard. We can hear you, Brusenhoff. It's going to be hard for me to not use your name, but I'm going to be committed to referring to you as Brusenhoff. And if you want to tell John who you are or whatever, he's a very good man, but you obviously can remain anonymous as you please.
Well, I'll tell you what Brusenhoff means if you want to know. Can you
Please,
hear me?
please. Yeah, we can hear you.
It's a smash up. It's brother, uncle, son, nephew, husband, and father, and that's how I choose to think.
That's
of myself.
amazing, bro. I literally thought it was like a German. No offense, but I thought it was like a Nazi thing. But it's actually even cooler now that I know what it means, because it sounds kind of like Heisenberg, or like it sounds like somebody's name. But I see that's what it means. It's you're a family man.
Yeah. So hey, I actually have to walk into class right now.
All right, you've got to go. But add this guy Joy now, because there's a lot of morons on this app. But this guy Joy now is a friend of mine. He's a smart guy.
Okay, I just added him, I think. It's got a little green circle next to him now, so.
Nice.
Okay, talk to you
All right,
soon.
man. Good. Have a good day. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, hey, good luck where you're going as well.
All right, thank you, bro.
All right, bye.
That was kind of fun with my mom on Clubhouse. I feel like she heard that voice could be, you know, internet famous.
She's got a great accent.
You should hear her sisters, her mother. They all sound the same.
Every time they put a lot of Y's, it's very happy. You should do a Chicago accent. I feel like if I need to do a Chicago accent, I have to make my voice like a higher octave. But that's a bad octave. The O. How do you say Chicago O? Chicago.
Chicago.
Anyway.
Well, you know.
This app is largely a waste of time, but I do think that what you're doing on the app is probably the smartest and best way to use it. So that's why I encouraged you to return.
Yeah, somebody gave me a shout out in Roger Mayhem's room last night. They said Roger was asking all these questions about, you know, who is the biggest troll? Who is this? And so somebody was like, I don't think some people, he was saying, who is someone who has changed most as a result of the app for the positive and things like that, or for the negative even. And so somebody said, well, there's some people on this app that should never change, that the way that they use it is they're making people think about things in a different way. And then somebody said somebody's name. He's like, I was actually thinking about Edmund. And I was like, whoa!
Boom!
But nobody wants...
I thought you were British. I thought you were British. I thought you were a British man. That's how British I thought you were.
Well, I want to go to London and then stage a bunch of like Aleister Crowley readings. I wonder if they would like kick me out of the country or something, you know? Because
why do they not like him?
No, but they would just see how like an American subversive, you know, is like manipulating the public in England or something. Like they're very politically sensitive.
Right. The shit. Don't they have that? Yeah. Well, I was going to say two things. First, I was going to say in England they have that speaker's corner, which seems like a very cool concept for a park.
Yeah, that would be fun to people YouTube in there. People get up there.
But now the second thing is that I have seen a lot of shit about people getting arrested for posting online. And that is disturbing to see.
Well, that speaker's corner is like Clubhouse.
Right.
So, I mean, the technology, that's why I say the app is just free telephony. And really the users are the app. This is just basically like it's like clairvoyancy.
You know what? Do you publish on YouTube?
Yeah, a lot.
That's true. You publish on YouTube.
A lot.
What about Spotify? What about actually making a real podcast? Making a podcast.
I was, and then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back or something. So
because of copyright.
No. Rid of it? The company did something where they shut it down and they brought it. Anyways, the point is, every time
the app changed.
Yeah, every time I've ever been on Clubhouse, guess what I also do? I record on a dummy phone the audio of every single time I use the app. So on my computer, I have 1,000 audio files.
But it's mostly garbage, bro. It's mostly boring.
It doesn't matter. I just want to upload it, label it, and walk away from it. Because if the app...
This is a fascinating form of neurosis.
Industrial complex.
He's crazy. I mean, it's like you're like a man making sandcastles.
Well, so there's this woman who recorded television for like 40 years, and she bought.
Right, I heard about her.
African American.
Yeah,
Like 1959.
total neurotic. and the Internet Archive apparently acquired her assets, and they are like digitizing all of her television. So what does that mean in terms of propaganda and analyzing Project Operation Mockingbird? You'll be able to look back on timestamps of major military events and look and see what all the major television networks were pushing out and what the messaging was. And you'll be able to make an inference about integrity, about ethics,
And
about
you'll be
morals.
able to do that except with the morons of the world.
Listen,
Collectively, they're smart people.
Seinfeld is a successful show because it's a hypnosis show. It's a funny show about nothing, which is the essence of philosophy, which is wonderment at the void, or the no thing, or the this or the that. So it's always going to be the same shtick or show. It's an inescapable motif.
I hear you, but I guess, well, maybe with our powers combined, maybe this is where I come in. But I think that out of all your archives, how many episodes? I guess Joe Rogan has 1,000 episodes or something. But
I got 4,200 videos on YouTube. I got 6,000 videos on YouTube, and the point is, I'm trying to exhaust all possible avenues of approach, and I'm trying to fail fast. Every hour I fail. I hit the stop button after an hour.
You're doing A/B testing, aren't you?
But you guys are my participants. And there's a lot of people on this app that are participants that do not know that they are participants.
Are the episodes only an hour?
If you go to my YouTube, I generally stop it after an hour.
Well, then I think you could be easily just double uploading those to Spotify and have another venue. Because, you can't watch videos on the YouTube app with your phone in your pocket.
Okay, I'll put them all on Spotify. But why don't you also create a Spotify? I will share your Spotify.
I have a Spotify.
Okay, well then on X, I need to know your X so I can retweet all of your episodes across my 50 different X accounts and get you distribution.
All right.
What's going on, Chris?
I was just like, Mr. T, that Irish fella, he is like totally tyke deranged, not K. T, like, I can't, like, he's totally deranged.
He hates
Tim.
everybody.
Yeah.
He hates everybody.
He's a dirty little leprechaun.
Oh my, I was like, what is it? I listened to him, and it's all, and Diego, it's like, juice. What the fuck?
It's their shtick. It's a shtick. You got to admit.
I think for Diego, it's a joke. I think for Tim, it's real.
Well, Tim hates everybody. I've heard him tongue lash everybody. He hates everybody. It's not just the Jews. So what does that tell you, though? I mean, if you study philosophy and you get to agape and fatherly love, Tim is devoid of fatherly love. I wonder what his relationship is like with his father. You could look at that spiritually. You could say that, anyways, he is who he is. And I appreciate diversity. And see, this is the thing. When you become a producer-director, it's not a personal thing. You're trying to make money from somebody's stupidity. That's okay.
Like, there was this TV show called Bum Fights, where there's this guy who's trying to get content from bums, and he would offer them, hey, I'll give you like $50 if you pull out your tooth right now.
I've seen it. I used to watch that shit in high school.
Well, that guy went on Dr. Phil and he cut his hair like Dr. Phil.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Dr. Phil realized real quick what was happening. He's like, get the fuck off my stage.
Did you learn that factoid from watching it, or did you learn it from a meme?
No, I learned it from watching it. I realized, I was like, this is so funny. I was like, he looks like Dr. Phil.
What about you, Chris? Did you watch it, or did you learn it from a meme?
No, I watched it. Yeah.
Well, I learned it from a meme.
There's another really funny content producer that they go to like LA and they have drones, right? And they fly over escorts and prostitutes, and it's just so funny to see like the reactions of like a drone
Diego. So I was meditating with this incredible little book I got called Metaphysical Meditations by Paramahansa Yogananda. They're like really very, very direct, over the top meditations. So they're very powerful hypnoses. And I would suggest you get a copy of it because it's really far out. He was definitely like the psychedelic guru of the 60s. You know, he was a stinky, greasy, disgusting little dindu. But, you know, this is like the spiritual path. India is, you know, extremely religious. So you have ascetics who do not care about the material world, but they end up becoming very wealthy because they become spiritual teachers to everyone in society who are working in the physical world. So, you know,
and then they rape 13-year-olds, you know, as their spiritual gurus.
Well,
that's how it goes.
That's the problem with morals and ethics, where there's a girl on this app that we were talking to yesterday, Goddess. She does Kundalini awakening events. And so it's erotic dance or naked yoga. And some people are so immature and despicable and disgusting, you know, that they will commit crimes during erotic Kundalini awakening because they're so turned on and they're basically still in a monkey mind type of thing.
Is getting a boner a crime?
Not at the strip club.
But yeah, a lot of these like mystical Zen, you know, the Tao leaders, like they go a little too far, and it's like they rape their students.
Right.
Like, it's a known thing. Yeah.
That's what Bikram was doing. He would do his huge yoga training events, and then he would essentially sexually assault attendees, you know, that he was attracted to. But that's the problem with sex cults.
You know, what's that guy's face who was in Fight Club, and then also Blade Runner 2049?
Harrison.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
You know, he has like this like sex cult in Europe where he's like raping 11-year-olds and shit like that. It's crazy. Like people don't know about it.
He during COVID, when COVID broke, I think it was like in March or April of 2020. He emerged from the desert with hundreds of followers. It is seriously insane. And I wanted to see him when he came to Chicago. He plays in a band called like 30 Seconds to Mars or something like that. And I wanted to film him performing so I could like dox him on YouTube as like a cult member. But I never got the tickets and I never went. So, but I wanted to record him and have footage of him. He's definitely a weirdo and retarded. There's so many stupid people in Hollywood. I was watching some guy yesterday.
But they use like sex intelligence, right? That's what they do. They use like sex as a means of like weaponization against others.
Well, pussy can bend steel. A dick can perforate steel, you know. You just have to be a master of your domain, and a lot of people manipulate people with sex. I was just reading about a woman who escaped her boyfriend, who for 2 years put her on OnlyFans and started pouring hot oil down her back. And it's not just OnlyFans. So there is sex slavery happening on the internet. Probably a couple billion people, or 1 million people at least, are like enslaved into online live stream sex. You know, against their will, or they have no other option of survival at this point. So, you know, society, you could say it's totally fucked and fractured and apocalyptic, or you could say there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe, that there is an actual equilibration happening at the global scale every second. You know, if you really look at it, everything is highly organized to an extremely high degree. And all the people who go downtown every day, they're essentially organizing and cleaning and returning back to their homes. So the city suburb hybridization model, where people go into the city to make it better, they go back to their homes, that doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, it does exist, but you get my point, where nothing is really happening. People are just like organizing what's already highly organized.
Hey, do you remember Coco
On this app?
From the app?
No.
The Blackberry Juice OnlyFans creator, right? Like she posts some Reddit and shit. Like
yes, that's what made me think of her.
Well, Pete, I wonder if OnlyFans revenue is slowing down. Because the COVID thing, just like this app,
Their profit margin is insane on OnlyFans. It's crazy. It's like 95% profit.
Well, I heard that they take 20% of the revenues the creators cut, and then there's the merchant fee. So if they're taking 20% and they're over, like, their margins might only be 10%. But for content creators, they have sets, they have internet bills, they have I saw this one woman who has a live streaming business where she like gets in a pool in her living room every night, and she's making, I think she said 2 million a month or 2 million a year. And so she's so addicted to the money that she can't stop it's kind of like my problem, but I don't make any money. It's because I don't have a great set of tits and a fat juicy ass to prop up. It would be amazing if I could find a girl who's already a successful OnlyFans chick, like a multimillionaire, and is like, yeah, I'll marry you and you can just be my producer. I'd be like, okay, great. No problem, honey. I'm going to go to the kitchen and make you breakfast. Get on live stream, baby. Daddy's got to eat. Do you know who Stinny is? On this app?
No.
Well, she's like always watching my live streams, and she's commenting. I don't know who she is exactly, but I know she doesn't like me. Like, it's amazing how once my cover gets blown on this app, it spreads like wildfire, and I'll go into a room where I think I'm undetected, and then they'll boot me and kick me because somebody gossiped and let everybody know who I am.
You really have to work on your your voice, because you have a really distinct sort of like gravelly undertone voice. That's like what I sort of pick up on.
Well, I
think.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, but another thing that could help you obviously is the slow build of an account. So you have to have an account and not really use it ever for talking.
Yeah.
Add a lot of friends. Random friends. Go to other random rooms. Then when you have 100 friends, then you look more legitimate.
I agree.
And then also, like, don't like post anything like to like your loveartjoy.com URL links or anything like that shit.
I know.
Make it a real account.
I know. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna like turn my other bedroom into another live streaming room and keep literally everything separate and new, so there's no cross contamination. This is like doing psychological research and observational research into profiles or personalities or characters. And I don't know. I think what I'm doing is actually really interesting in the field of like, psychological research or science, you could say, of like the science theory of communication, linguistics, propaganda, hypnosis. I mean, this app to me, because imagine if you had to pay to get a fucking profile on this app, like a dating app. People would probably do it. And, and if this is why this app has to be a government-funded PSYOP shill. Because
it almost feels like, like how we all like exist in our like tunnel realities. It feels like it's outside that tunnel reality. It feels like a liminal space, something like the back rooms. Have you heard of that?
No.
Well, it's like a meme. Excuse me, on the internet, and if you look up like some of the images of like a back rooms meme, you'll see like what I'm talking about.
Mm. It's an interesting parallel society app because the general public is completely unaware that all these conversations are happening in the background. But really, the effect of this app is nobody here on this. Everybody here on this app is lazy as fuck. Nobody here on this app promotes this app. Nobody here on this app promotes their content on this app.
I was about to, but it became I was about to, bro. In the beginning, I had like 2,000 friends, and I made a lot of rooms, and they would get big. I would make a room, and 10 minutes later, it would be big. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't yet connecting it to my offline life because me personally, I was dealing with an ongoing cancellation, and I was really appreciating like connecting with an audience that was not connected to my offline life. And I thought if I connected it, it would blow up. But then what happened was Clubhouse became very dangerous, and I got several accounts removed, and people did mass reporting, and so that's one reason why I think it's harder to, I would never like post on Facebook and say, hey, join me on Clubhouse. But then again, my friend who was in here, Brusenhoff, I'll tell you about, I can't even tell you who he is right now because he doesn't want me to dox him. But he's a very lovely man who I met in Kansas when I was working for Cornell West. And he's the best thing to come out of that trip to Kansas. I talked with him for like 10 minutes on the street. And then he became a very good friend. And he's somebody who I brought to Clubhouse. But I would never say like to my Instagram audience, join me on Clubhouse,
What did you do for Cornell?
I collected signatures for Cornell West to get him on the ballot for president.
Really?
Yes, they paid me. What the fuck were they paying me? I think they were paying me at one point like $12 a signature or something.
What? All you have to do is find someone with a watermelon.
See, that would have gotten me removed from Clubhouse.
Am I in trouble now?
I think that is the type of thing. I got banned from Clubhouse for saying everybody knows that black people do not.
That wasn't about black people. It was about Palestine. Oh my gosh. What? You read into it like that
I read
way.
into it with my racist brain.
And then it works both ways sometimes, but not every time.
I am the racist.
What?
Yes.
No, I wasn't. Okay, Cornell West is very pro-Palestine, so that was.
I thought you were. I understand now.
Yeah, so anyone with a watermelon, like on a social app or in their Instagram.
Somebody eat the watermelon. Say, excuse me, sir. You want to sign for this here Cornell West? Give me a piece of that watermelon, sir. Please, thank you.
And you know what's crazy as well is like how is that like racist? Every race has like their specific sort of food of choice, right? Like the Asians, it's fucking rice. Europeans.
Yeah, they like a fly lie.
Yeah,
like man, a fly lie.
I just don't understand it at all. It's like it's like
the Indian they ate the curry. Indian not like a curry.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make it as offensive as possible here.
I need to clarify that because because that's who you need is. Man, next time bring me on board.
It's a great industry. I could connect you to the industry. It's an industry full of 3 types of people in the signature collection industry. Number 1, most common, is degenerate freaks and criminals collecting signatures. The number 2 is old people. Very good job for old people. And the number 3 is interesting, quirky folks like myself.
But the old people do it for free. Like my mom's always doing this stuff for free. So
yeah, well that's her. I mean that's her loss.
Yeah, so I'm like very good at like opening credit cards, so I could do it. I don't take no for an answer in the best way possible.
Well, yeah. Sometimes it can be dangerous.
So I think everyone in this room
not dangerous
has now lost the game. You've been medically info hazard, mind virus. You've now lost the game.
The game of life.
No, you've never heard of the game? If you think
Well,
about
the game is the game of life, right? So if you're losing the game, you're losing at life, and that's why I love sweatpants, because I did give up on the game a long time ago, and I love sweatpants and pajama pants.
I can't believe none of you guys have heard of the game.
Yeah, I've read the book, and with the bald asshole, I know all about him. I didn't understand that book, and I probably did a superficial reading, but I listened to it quite a bit. But it wasn't, once I read this book on neurolinguistic programming from the 1980s, and I read that all communication is hypnosis, it made me really realize the value and power of positive words in communication, especially with women that I want to love. There's like ways to make people feel good. There's ways to make people feel uncomfortable because you yourself are, retarded. So if you get really good at communication, for example, if I take a girl out on my boat and we're smoking a joint, enjoying the sunset, it's easy for me to try to, make a hypnosis and say, okay, take a deepest breath of the day. Imagine yourself in the city, you grow, 100 feet into the sky. Like there's ways to do people through a guided hypnosis. But
I have a trauma about a boat. Like this guy that was rich, kind of, he had a boat and he was into Metallica, and we were on his boat alone, and I would never go on a boat.
Did somebody move Danny?
I'm sorry. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Danny, I love you, but he was saying something that was very connected to the growth of the brain and intelligence. And I want to hear your traumatic story because I want to help you move through your trauma as your unlicensed therapist friend on Clubhouse. But he was in the middle of a sentence, so I'm going to bring you back up. But if you can't, did she leave?
She left, yeah.
She left.
She's funny, though. I liked her sweatpants comment.
By the way, if you guys want some informational hazards, check out my PTR, the iceberg. That'll send you down a rabbit hole for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, let me take a look at that and screenshot it. So I've been screenshotting everybody's PTR, and I've been putting it on an Instagram. And I'm going to change that Instagram's name to, like, Clubhouse Live or Clubhouse TV. And, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to make it public. And I'm going to tell everybody that Clubhouse has a new live streaming television show produced by, Edmund Dakin, a.k.a. Jacob. It's going to be just like Scam Movie all over again. Diego will help me promote it. See, that's the thing is, I know enough people on this app where maybe they don't hate me as much as I think they do, and they'll help me promote all of my captures. It's possible, not probable, but like a lot of people do hate me. And, a lot of people are deciding that they might form a class action lawsuit against me, which is fine. It's just going to be another creditor situation I'll have to deal with. Hi, Abby. Welcome to the room. And Pepper, I love your PTR. It's hilarious.
How's your Black Sheep boss? How's that deposition or whatever that's going on with your work?
I just told her not to communicate with me anymore because she called me a whore and I don't feel comfortable talking to her. So I'm headed downtown later, actually next week, to file the deposition with the National Labor Relations Board and then submit that complaint internally to our what's called the EEOC or something, the Equity Office of Compliance, something like that. I can't remember what they call it. So then after I file that complaint with them, I'm going to write a letter making my requests, for back pay, for damages, for a promotion and a transition to a different business unit because the soil has been so toxified and I cannot be a participant in that toxic federal work environment anymore, which is involved in fraud, theft, mismanagement, waste, and abuse. And I will also be submitting my letter to Donald Trump and the White House and asking for a position in the new administration. I'm not kidding about that, by the way. I am actually going to email my letter of complaint about the federal agency I work for to Donald Trump or to his vice president or to any, and I'm going to put it on the internet. So, and I very much doubt if I mail it, I'll get a response. But if I put it on the internet, well, then I get some more social justice equity points.
So, I really want to be part of this parasitic and but there's this thing called Doge, right? The Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going to really turn out that well for me.
See, the problem with Doge is when they, it's already got like over 2 million followers. There's so many comments and retweets that, like, I don't know, in the comment section you have to sort by relevancy. But the point is, there are so many discontented, angry people that shitpost in the comments. Here in Chicago, the mayor, the attorney general, Kim Foxx, whenever they post anything, if you look at the comment section, it's close to "I hate you and I want to kill you." It's that close. Like, people are that angry across the spectrum about their governments, about what they say, about how they act, how superficial they are, how narcissistic they are, how toxic they are.
Wasn't there like a recent? There was a recent vote in Chicago that was like 50-0, right?
Yeah, but that's all a lie. They already raised the property taxes 150%. They're lying. They're all liars. All of them. Every one of them. They all know that the system is fucked, that it's financially irreconcilable and reckless.
And then the CTU, it's fucking disastrous in Chicago. Like the teachers union,
I know.
It is like, what the fuck is going on there?
It's really bad. But that's just the local level. The federal level, if you look at the out of control spending and what they're spending money on, the $50 billion in weapons they just sent to Ukraine, there is no way that we are not entering into a major global conflict, like expanding it. It's already there.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Abby because she lives, in Germany, and like this intercontinental ballistic missile that was launched. Like, Europe didn't do shit. Europe was like, oh, okay, they just could have launched a nuke at us and there's no retaliation.
Will you guys miss me if I'm gone?
Who was that? Who was talking?
Me, Abby.
Who?
Abby.
I don't know an Abby. I think I used to know an Abby. I think she helped me spread joy on Clubhouse. But she disappeared in a nuclear attack on Germany in a preemptive Russian Federation onslaught.
Yeah, you're speaking to her soul right now.
Well, I'm a deadbeat, and technically you can't beat a dead man because he's already dead. So I've had an ego death, if that's what you're referring to.
I guess I get mine soon. I feel it's coming.
Okay, I'm ending part 1 of my morning meditation on YouTube. If you want to rejoin the live, click back on the profile and rejoin the new live.
Hold on. I wanted to thank you yesterday. You had a recording or streaming story going on, and I made a beautiful clip, and I want to show you. Shall I show you in the new room or in this one?
Why in a new room?
Oh, I thought you were gonna make a new room.
No, I'm making a new live stream on YouTube.
Okay. Hold on. Let me go on audio modes, and I will play it for you.
Do you really think there's a difference between these modes?
Yeah, I mean, I have to. It's on my phone, so hold on. Let me first find the audio.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're gonna laugh. It's still the Diego roast, though. Still your old ego.
They were playing clips of me in their room yesterday. It was so funny.
Okay, now it's our turn. Where is it? Oh, here. Hold on. Let me go on. I mean music mode. Okay, there you go.
Why don't you go ahead and just play a movie that does that? Diego, clearly, like on site, and hindsight, when you watch this movie, like,
That was very funny. It's a shtick. I mean, that's why I don't take Diego too seriously. I know he's playing a game, but maybe they have met in real life. Maybe he has committed adultery. Do I care? No. Do I care that they spend 50 hours a week here on this app talking about the Jews? No. There's a lot of stupid people in the world. I could go to the Down syndrome facility, a couple blocks away, and go meet with a bunch of people eating a banana this morning. They might have a pickle for lunch. They draw on paper with crayons at 3:00 in the afternoon and have a Diet Coke. That's the kind of person Diego and Brincesia are. They're that retarded.
Well, at least at this tantrum, you'll have different topics to talk about.
Listen, anyone who just talks about movies all day long or talks about the Jews all day long, either they're living off their parents' wealth or they have a lot of money and they think they're funny. But he doesn't work a job. She doesn't work a job. As far as I know, this is their job. This is really pathetic. Really pathetic. Now, you may say, well, the person criticizing the pathetic people is also pathetic. I'm not saying I'm not pathetic. I'm not saying that I'm not a loser. I'm just saying I'm not stupid.
You're saying they're also losers.
I'm saying they are stupid losers, but I'm just a loser.
That was an amazing clip of him just horribly berating her.
Is that a toxic?
Silence, please.
That's toxic codependency right there.
Did you hear him saying silence, please?
Do you guys mind playing that clip? I haven't heard it.
Oh, yeah, I can do it.
No, Abby, the audio was terrible.
I can also send it to you.
The audio was bad, but it was funny.
I can send it to you.
It's on YouTube, Chris. You can go to loveartjoy.com and spend 6 hours searching through my live stream.
He has to find it, It's forever. I have a one.
Well, you haven't completely.
Thanks, Abby.
Wait a minute. If you're gonna turn your life over to this app, why not just turn it over to my YouTube? It'll actually save you time because it's all edited. It's technically the best content of Clubhouse.
Yesterday I was on your YouTube, remember?
Well, that's my point. Is this app? If you're gonna value it, let's say you work, for a venture capital firm or you're trying to do a valuation of the app, and then you realize someone has essentially recorded the whole thing, it makes you realize the value of the app is insignificant. It's the people on the app and the content they generate, which is the value. And this app doesn't actually record it or promote it or publish it. So I'm just saying that, why spend your time here if you could just spend your time watching videos about this place, which are of higher value? It's the same experience. It's the same. Maybe not, because people want to talk.
Because you are the content producer here, rather than the content consumer.
Right. I am a consumer and a. Anyways, I just encourage you all to do what I do, and take this app very lightly. When you start recording people and you start documenting their patterns, you will realize that people are slaves to their patterns. They have no capability of breaking out of their pattern. Only through books and through the information age and putting new information in, or personas or souls or booze or patterns, can you hope to achieve something different. It's the scientific.
The worst part of losing the Ishmael the gorilla profile is that now we can no longer say book.
Well, you can't say the N word or F word, and truth be told, saying the F word and N word is irascible, so it's not worth your time. And
Right, and there's no reason to mock the book by saying it in a caveman voice. You can just say, books are good, and I'm taking a few of them on my trip to Israel.
Ooh. When I was in Israel last time, I was on the beach. They had a book exchange, like a box where you take a book, leave a book. So I left a book and I took a book called 6 Talmudic Stories and Analysis and Commentary. It was some Jewish stuff is so boring that there's no way that it's not an exercise in Zen theory, meaning that the fact that it's so explicitly boring about the most irrelevant topic that you're like, okay, this is definitely India. I mean, it's an ethno-cultural state. So, people just, it is Jewish content. And, but the thing is, if you look at Hinduism or Japanese Zen Buddhism, whatever, or Christianity or etc., it's all a different form of content, and content is also contentment or content. So that's why I say I like burritos, I like pizza, I like tacos, I like baked mastacholi, I like Chinese food, and I like egg. I like the smorgasbord. I like the melange. I like the cornucopia. And too many people on this app have not figured out philosophically and psychologically, having green eggs and ham is to your detriment. You can't become successful in life unless you get past green eggs and ham. You have to try new things in your life. Now, if you're a Jew and you want to be kosher, well, that's your discipline. That's your measuring stick. So it's a tool. It's a tool of self-control. And self-control allows you to pick and choose priorities. And too many people on this app get lost in the linguistic hypnosis. And they literally turn their brain's control over to this fucking app and to the people on it. So that's a danger, and that's why I try to do this intervention for myself and for other people by reading books.
You're trying to mind rape them with good information instead of mind raping them with bad information.
Correct. Now imagine if I went the opposite and I just started reading horrible, demonic, satanic verses on this app. Do you know that many people would actually rather listen to that? The positive, because at the chemical neurotransmitter level, that's like looking at the news. You only look at the news because you're just so appalled at the horrible everyday regurgitation of bad news. So it's a trick. It's at the subconscious level. It is because if I just say horrible things on this app, it does flare people's dopamine. Now they may kick me, but I can go to another room immediately and just continue the same shtick or hypnosis.
John, have you ever read the book The Fourth Way?
No.
Highly recommend it. I think you would really enjoy it. It's highly occultic. Takes a lot of deep intention to reveal the secret meanings within it. It's really, really good.
Well, I just bought this $150 book on eBay. It's Jack Parsons. It's his essays. And he was a member of the OTO, or Aleister Crowley's, Thalametic Church. And his essays are really interesting because it's an American in the 40s writing about Crowley. And it boils down Crowley's, English Kabbalistic, Thalamitic, insanity. So the Jack Parsons essays, and I heard this from, who's that guy? What's his name? This other guy. Anyways, he said, you got to get this book. So I bought the book, even though it was expensive. And so far, every reading I've done has been very interesting and revealing, meaning that in the occult or in the cult, you got the Diddies, you got the George Bushes. You have essentially a decentralized cultish group of people who are LARPing, just like Comic-Con, the occult. And they're not all academic and scholarly researchers. A lot of them are what's her face? Beyonce and Jay-Z or Lady Gaga. They are all interested and educated, I believe superficially in the occult. And they utilize the occult imaging and words in all of their lyrics. The Democratic National Committee. Look at this new movie coming out with Jack Black called Dear Santa. Even in the previews, it shows a child writing a letter to Satan. And then Jack Black appears from the furnace as the devil. But then he metamorphosizes into Santa Claus. Go look at it. And Jack Black, and remember what he was doing with his fat piece of shit bandmate who said death to Trump or whatever? These people use words like magic. They do think it is spellcasting, or at least hypnosis, mind control, or communication theory. So if you're aware of that, you will realize that almost all commercialization of all songs, all books, everything is always is always attempting to monetize occult symbolism because it is very hypnotic and it sells.
And they're trying to utilize the power of now as well.
Exactly.
Like the very moment, like the instant it comes across, they're trying to use everything about the now to sell more of it.
You can use this meditational spiritual information very subversively. If you subversively, either positively or negatively. I'm saying that the person who uses the Torah for positive good things could still have evil intentions, or vice versa. It's because it's communication technology. It's very powerful communication technology because it's alternative content that most people are not exposed to. But it feels very good when you listen to it because it's so outside of the negative neurolinguistic shtick that you hear all the time. It's important information to read. This little book I have by Paramahansa Yogananda, it's a very, very powerful, tiny little book. It's so easy. I had to go to court the other day, and I realized that the judge talks to everyone like they're in the 3rd grade. He doesn't make things complicated. He just uses very simple, stupid sentences. He does not use complicated words. Just talks to everybody like they're a child. It's fucked up, but that's the way it is. Because less is more. Less is more. And thus, the quote by JP Morgan, which is think a lot, write little, say nothing. That is the essence of meditation. That is its own alchemical formula, or salve coagula, or the coagulant salvation, or the dissolving of the block.
Do you know about Facebook's Little Red Book?
No.
Oh, I think you would love that content. It's kind of easy to find. It's just called Facebook's Little Red Book, and it's like a PDF file. There's like physical hard copies, but they're almost impossible to find. It has some really great, really fantastic hypnosis in there. It was developed during 2012 for Facebook internally for the employees. It was sort of like a manual of what Facebook was about. It's very powerful.
I'm looking at it now. I have it on PDF. Look at this. Facebook was not originally created to be a company. It was built to accomplish a social mission to make the world more open and hacking can be playful as long as it works. Interesting. Wow. The quick shall inherit the earth. Fast is better than slow. While slow is adding unnecessary embellishments, fast is out in the world, and that means fast can learn from experience, while slow can only theorize. Those who ship quickly can improve quickly. So fast doesn't just win the race, it gets a head start for the next one. See, this is when you don't realize what you can't do, you can do some pretty cool stuff. Remember?
That's true. Rabboina Shalorlim, that's good wisdom.
Remember, people don't use Facebook because they like us. They use it because they like their friends. We don't build services to make money. We make money to build better services. If we don't create the thing that kills Facebook, someone else will. Embracing change isn't enough. It has to be so hardwired into who we are that even talking about it seems redundant. The internet is not a friendly place. Things that don't stay relevant don't even get the luxury of leaving ruins. They disappear. The only way to see the complete work at Facebook, visit facebook.com for career opportunities. Interesting. Ben Berry.
It's like it's like 300 pages long, but some very powerful hypnosis in that book.
Interesting. Let me see if it's on eBay. That would be a good book to have.
Yeah, I'm really that I got to share that piece of information to you. You know, like it's always great when someone learns something new.
The Little Red Book. The Little Red Book of Selling. That's what comes up on eBay.
I just posted a link to the complete PDF so you can check it out. It's really, really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you know what? I really want to also read that book, How to Win Jury Trials, the Chameleon Theory. You showed me that website where you can like pull up basically any book. Can't remember the name of it. What was the name of that website?
Libgen.is.
Libgenesis.net?
So it's it's libgen, GEN.is.
Oh. Yeah, oh shit, it does come up. Here we go. All right, I'm bookmarking this motherfucker. So it was called How to Win Jury Trial. It's like a $600 book. I typed in law. Holy shit, there's so many books. It's crazy. Interesting. Wow. Okay, I'll be right back. Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to take the Cosby kids to the beach. Okay, so the name of that book about the lizard brain science, I just Googled it. There's this website called jdsupra.com. It says, hallmark of the reptile strategy in litigation. The plaintiff reptile strategy aims to influence jury decision making by appealing to the reptilian complex of jurors' brains. That is, plaintiff counsel uses tactics to activate jurors' survival instincts in hopes that they will make decisions based on instinct, fear, rather than logic and reasoning. While there are several tactics that Keenan and Ball recommend, the keystone of their strategy to focus on danger and community safety. Establish danger to community. One of the most important concepts of the reptile approach is the concept of the safety rule. A safety rule is a universal principle of how people should behave. A doctor must not needlessly endanger a patient. A plaintiff attorney who is using the reptile approach will point out to jurors a general safety rule, get defense witnesses to agree with the rule, demonstrate to jurors how the defendant broke the safety rule, and suggest that breaking the rule puts the entire community at risk, thereby awakening the reptile brain in the juror. Keenan and Ball illustrate this concept with the phrase, safety rule plus danger equals reptile. Jury has the power to improve the community's safety. Showing the danger is only the first step. The second step is convincing jurors that they have the power to reduce or eliminate the danger. In fact, another aspect of the reptile strategy is convincing jurors that they are the only ones with that power, and that they should exercise that power by finding in favor of the plaintiff and awarding a large amount of monetary damages. In essence, the reptile approach subtly suggests to jurors that they should award compensatory damages to punish the defendant and deter others. Attorneys using this strategy may even suggest that without a proper verdict and an appropriate punishment, the danger to the community will actually be increased. The impact of the reptile brain approach on a jury. This approach is essentially effective in product liability, transportation accidents, medical malpractice, and environmental contamination cases. The sequence begins in depositions, carries over to the trial, from voir dire to closing argument. In his article on the reptile approach, David Marshall describes some of the deposition questions posed by plaintiff attorney to a representative for a defendant car manufacturer. Does the defendant agree that the car manufacturers must make vehicles that are free from defects in materials and workmanship? So the defendant agrees that if a car manufacturer makes a vehicle that has a defect in materials or workmanship and someone is injured because of that defect, then the car manufacturer is responsible for the harms and losses caused? Does the defendant agree with the statement that car manufacturers must make their vehicles so they operate the way the manufacturer represents they will operate? And if a vehicle does not operate in the way in which it is presented to operate and a person is injured, then the car manufacturer is responsible for the harm caused to that person, isn't it? The questions are posed in such a way as to make the witness appear foolish if he or she does not agree with the premise. This strategy has a way of garnering high settlements, because depositions that should have gone well have instead produced sound bites that reinforce the plaintiff themes. The questions are also designed to demonstrate to the jury that the defendant broke the safety rule. By showing the rule broken, the theory is that the jurors will feel vulnerable, and in order to reduce that danger risk, they will send a proper message to stop this behavior going forward. Preparing witnesses who you believe will be subject to the reptile approach is essential to avoid providing such damaging testimony. Countering the reptile approach. As a theory of human decision-making and brain development, the reptile approach lacks scientific support. However, the strength of the approach lies not in its scientific validity, but in the way that it shifts the focus of the trial from the individual plaintiff to the jurors themselves. The strategy behind the reptile approach appeals to the human's innate selfishness, to the extent that most jurors implicitly ask themselves, how does this trial affect me? The reptile approach offers them an answer. The defendant's behavior affects the juror by threatening his or her family or community. There are several ways the defense can counter the reptile approach. Remember, we are not reptiles. Even if we accept that the brains of humans evolved in the way the authors contend, the fact remains that human brains did evolve. Our brains have other areas that grant us greater cognitive abilities than our lizard forebears. Oh my God, really? The reptile strategy deliberately ignores these other parts of our brain, the parts that control our logic and reasoning and makes us distinctly human. One of the approaches for countering the reptile approach is to invoke the non-reptilian areas of jurors' brains, emphasize the details of a case. Refocus to this plaintiff in this case, show a defendant's behavior did not violate a safety rule, fight fire with fire. Conclusion. Simply put, we are not reptiles. To successfully defend these cases, it is important to understand that the strategy and the ability to identify what a plaintiff lawyer is implementing. When using a trial consultant For witness preparation, voir dire, or other trial services, we suggest making sure that your consultant is well versed in identifying a reptile plaintiff and is informed about the practices for countering such strategies.
I gotta say, I think Facebook's Little Red Book had more powerful hypnosis. That's all, better.
Okay, I'm gonna message this link. I'm gonna put it on X. I'm gonna send it to Elon Musk and tag Adrian Dittman.
Adrian Dittman is 100% Elon Musk.
I know.
100%.
100%. I know.
Yeah. It's just reliability reasons, though. Like, he can say whatever he wants on that account, and it's like it won't really come back to him, even though it's 100% him.
Well, he knows what I've been doing, and he called me like his historian. He said we have some freak show that records every single conversation. It was very funny.
I really like your new setup on YouTube as well. It's really nice with the camera, the phone holder, so you can see who's talking on Clubhouse. It's really great.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this in another, probably in 2 different rooms. So the best time to capture Clubhouse is in the morning and in the evening. In the morning, everybody's like getting their dopamine fill, and then in the evening, everybody's doing their like dopamine outpouring. And so really, like 2 to 3 hours a day is all you need to like film great content off this app. And then you have Elon Musk, who goes live almost every night from 8 p.m. to like fucking 2 in the morning. But when Elon gets on, his energy is super high for like the first hour, and then it totally tapers off and he shuts the fuck up. So this really is a talk therapy app. People are getting high. This app is indeed an advanced medical device technology company that provides its users the talk therapy that they need. Like, my mom just called me this morning because she wanted to get her talk therapy in again. I come on Clown House and do it here. Doing it on an app like this is being polite. Doing it in the real world and talking people's ears off for an hour in the morning is called ruining somebody else's life.
There's this club here. There's this house, right? It's called Dr. Dopamine's whatever, and it's like 100% true. Like, they're getting their dopamine hit. Yeah.
My argument is that even though you're getting your dopamine hit, it's better to get a dopamine hit with words of wisdom than it is with somebody talking about, what they just bought at the grocery store, or the fact that they're getting their oil changed today. Like, there's a lot of useless things that really serve no point to listen to. Anyway, Zach, do you want to read some Tanya, or do you want to hear some Paramahansa Yogananda?
Little Red Book.
I can't read at the moment.
Okay, let me just read a couple pages from Little Red Book. The audience has spoken. Let's see, what is the name of this? Art Gallery Wow is the name of, Joyce Burner X account. Okay, 146 pages. Whoa. Fuck, I still wish I had a job. I'd print this off at work. Okay, changing how people communicate will always change the world. Changing how ideas spread changes how society functions, changes how people speak, changes how people live, changes how people tell stories, changes how people fall in love, changes who people consider friends, changes who people consider strangers, changes what being alone means. Then there's some pictures of the Lascaux caves, which are Bulls, Neolithic, the tombs of the nobles, Egypt, hieroglyphics, the Sistine Chapel, Catholic Church, Berlin Wall. Then you have a photo of an old Apple iPhone. And then a picture that says, I want to see your friends once. People sharing more, even if just with their close friends or families, creates a more open culture, leads to better understanding of the lives and perspectives of others. See, this is why this is kind of bullshit, because really Facebook is not about that. It's a spam ad network. And what people post is a hypnosis, but it's a shitty hypnosis. Connection is the fundamental unit of society, and increasing the number of ways people can connect the number of people they can connect to is a powerful tool for good. It blurs lines, it alters perspectives, it humanizes, because when everyone is considered an us, there's a lot less us versus them. Historically, those who control the media control the message. If you're the only one with a printing press, you control what people read. Same with radio, same with TV. But what happens when everyone can put their message in front of a lot of people, when the playing field is level, when everyone has a printing press? The ones with the best ideas are the ones people listen to. Influence can no longer be owned. It must be earned. And there's a chart. It says amount of information shared compared to time. Information shared online in a day, information we can handle in a day. So the information that is shared versus how much we can actually retain has not changed. Zuckerberg's law. It sounds cool, doesn't it? Just like some sort of vigilante justice for people who take too many pretzels from the micro kitchen. Yeah, it's not that. It's about sharing stuff on the internet. Zuckerberg's law. The amount each person shares doubles each year. That means each year the amount of information shared by humanity is increasing at an exponential rate. That is massive. That is almost unfathomable. But as the amount of content is growing wildly, the amount of time people spend consuming content has not changed. There are no more hours in the day, so there's a lot more content and nowhere for it to go. That means there are two massive opportunities. One massive opportunity lies in creating more ways for people to share more things. It stands to reason that the demand for better, easier, and new ways to share will grow proportionally as people share more and more of their daily lives. We've already seen this proven true as mobile phones have become more and more powerful. The sheer amount of things people can share and always they can share those things is staggering. The second massive opportunity lies in figuring out how to deliver this huge amount of new information to the right people in the right ways, giving people things they are interested in ways they can understand and consume quickly. And historically, that's what friends are for. There's always been way more information in the world than time to consume it. Human networks evolved naturally as a way to help sort through it. That's why we were drawn to friends with similar interests. Our friends are our news sources as well as our filters. They bring us stories that interest us because our interests are similar. The digital world isn't that much different. There's just a lot more information to sort through and a lot more friends talking at once. But we believe that personal connections and social networks will always be key to both enabling people to share more of their lives and allowing them to get more valuable information from this massive data. Again, the statement says, but we believe. Listen, you could go to the Buddhists sitting in Tibet citing mantras and they will laugh at Facebook. They'll say that's not the real world. And it's not. That's the problem. It's a mass communication hypnosis. It's a psyop. And it's all to deliver advertisements to you. It's a spam ad network. And what people post is irrelevant. It's totally useless. It doesn't expand consciousness, which in itself is like either a petty game or it's a useful tool. But listen to this. This is Dr. Jordan Shaw yesterday talking about a beautiful bubble bath wine story. It's got 64 views.
Been falling behind. We should complain. Boycott OnlyFans.
So, not the kind of rhetoric that will get you into bathtubs or popping.
Hey, you know, she was really nice
talking about Dr. Catherine, but has Dr. Jordan made very clear earlier that there been.
That'd be an interesting couple. Dr. Jordan, do you like to drink wine?
I don't drink. I do go to bars, but I don't drink alcohol. Although Dr. Catherine almost, when she requested my presence in the bubble bath, I was going to bring wine. I just wasn't going to drink it.
Dr. Jordan, you would hit that.
I mean, hit is kind of a like, been falling behind. We should complain. Boycott OnlyFans.
You spend your time.
Okay, this is Hampton Spears yesterday. I'm giving you examples of useless discourse on this app. Also, I got Thugga Biden on camera, which was really awesome. This is Hampton Spears. Yes. Oh my God, my Hampton Spears videos are going viral.
Like, officially, I'm just giving you advice. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I mean, that's really all this. I can't get, like, people say, oh, what's the code? Like, what's the cheat code to break into? There's no cheat code. Just make content that people want to watch.
That's the biggest problem. You're not making content that people want to watch. But the fact you haven't gotten that message after 4 years, it's a little bit concerning.
Right.
I mean, shouldn't you go look in the mirror and say that to yourself? What have you created? You've created nothing.
See, now you're just getting defensive.
Oh, the thumbnails. Like, you always hear about the thumbnails.
I'm trying to help you. The thumbnails, it's like, that just is extra work that you're just like, it's not working, brother. Like, what are you doing?
What was that short that you did, Edmund, where you were saying, please follow me?
Yeah, that one was.
I mean, you know, Edmund, that I have hundreds of thousands of views.
Like, officially, I'm just giving you
Yeah, Conceptista has so many views. Okay, I'm going... Chris, I hope you enjoyed that Red Book reading. I'll probably try to print it out and maybe even bind it. It would be awesome to print that thing, bind it, and then sell it on eBay. Because it's not on eBay. And, I mean, I know it may be copyrighted, but I'd be willing to take that risk. People should read that shit because it informs you as to their actual stated missions and goals, which in retrospect, you could say is totally subversive and a lie because it really has nothing to do with their stated missions or goals. It's all about making money and spamming you with ads and ripping you off. So, I want to go back to the original ripoff, which is essentially spirituality. And I don't think it's really a ripoff. I think it's useful, calming, relaxing information that can help you deal with the toxic mindsets of all of your fellow human beings, which are unenlightened beings for the most part, because they're still living with fear and anxiety. And a lot of people who talk about God, they sure don't talk about God. They're so aggressive about it. So if you go into the Christian room right now, if I had a second burner account, I would play for you what Christians are talking about with Jews. And you would see that both Jews and Christians are not talking about God in a happy way. They are debating God very aggressively. And that's why I think using a hypnosis script is a very useful tool in communication, especially on this app. Our dialectic conversations are not helping. I don't think so. No one's chilling out. Do you not agree that people on this app are just not thinning out, chilling out, cheesing out? They're just maintaining their patterns and getting angry and getting their dopamine feedback loop. So I know we've discussed this at length. So let us continue on. We are now live on YouTube. This is a new recording. This is Metaphysical Meditations by Paramahansa Yogananda. Never lose hope. If you have given up hope of ever being happy, cheer up. Never lose hope. Your soul, being a reflection of the ever-joyous spirit, is in essence happiness itself. If you keep the eyes of your concentration closed, You cannot see the sun of happiness burning within your bosom. But no matter how tightly you close the eyes of your attention, the fact nevertheless remains that the happiness rays are ever trying to pierce the closed doors of your mind. Open the windows of calmness, and you will find a sudden burst of the bright sun of joy within your very self. The joyous rays of the soul may be perceived if you interiorize your attention. These perceptions may be had by training your mind to enjoy the beautiful scenery of thoughts in the invisible, intangible kingdom within you. Do not search for happiness only in beautiful clothes, clean houses, delicious dinners, soft cushions, and luxuries. These will imprison your happiness behind the bars of externality, of outwardness. Rather, in the airplane of your visualization, glide over the limitless empire of thoughts. There behold the mountain ranges of unbroken, lofty spiritual aspirations for improving yourselves and others. Glide over the deep valleys of universal sympathy. Fly over the geysers of enthusiasm, over the Niagara Falls of perpetual wisdom, plunging down the hoary crags of your soul's peace. Soar over the endless river of intuitive perception to the kingdom of his omnipresence. There in his mansion of bliss, drink from his fountain of whispering wisdom, and quench the thirst of your desires. Dine with him on the fruits of divine love in the banquet hall of eternity. If you have made up your mind to find joy within yourself, sooner or later you shall find it. Seek it now, daily, by steady, deeper and deeper meditation within. Make a true effort to go within, and you will find there your longed-for happiness. Okay, this is Metaphysical Meditations, The Light of Smiles. Invite people to the room if you're enjoying this meditation. Click that little button, click that little icon, and click add. Here we go, The Light of Smiles. Meditate, dwell on, and practice this daily. I will light the match of smiles. My gloom veil will disappear. I shall behold my soul in the light of my smiles, hidden behind the accumulated darkness of ages. When I find myself, I shall race through all hearts with the torch of my soul smiles. My heart will smile first, then my eyes and my face. Every body part will shine in the light of smiles. I will run amid the thickets of melancholy hearts and make a bonfire of all sorrows. I am the irresistible fire of smiles. I will fan myself with the breeze of God joy and blaze my way through the darkness of all minds. My smiles will convey his smiles, and whoever meets me will catch a whiff of my divine joy. I will carry fragrant, purifying torches of smiles for all hearts. I will help weeping ones to smile by smiling myself even when it is difficult. In the cheer of all hearts I hear the echo of thy bliss. In the friendship of all true hearts I discover thy friendship. I rejoice as much in the prosperity of my brothers as I do in my own prosperity. In helping others to be wise, I increase my own wisdom. In the happiness of all, I find my own happiness. Nothing shall blight my smiles. Grim death, disease, or failure cannot daunt me. Disaster cannot really touch me. For within my soul, I possess the unconquerable, unchangeable, ever new bliss of God O divine silent laughter, be enthroned beneath the canopy of my countenance and smile through my soul. I will try to be a joy billionaire, finding my wealth in the coin of thy realm. Ever new bliss. Thus I shall satisfy my need for spiritual and material prosperity at the same time. Welcome to the show, Danelle. I like that RFK PTR you have.
Yeah, it's good. It's his humiliation ritual before he doesn't get a cabinet position. I feel bad for him.
They're putting acetylene in the water, and they're putting lithium in the water.
Red dye's a cause of autism.
There's a fluoride in the water. There's mercury in the vaccines. We're gonna get rid of all of it. We're gonna clean it up, head to toe, toe to head, top to bottom, bottom to top. And Augustus, I'm gonna take Augustus to the White House, and he's gonna be my meme maker.
I heard somebody doing an RFK impersonation on here the other day. It was so fucking spot on. It was hilarious.
You have to do some oscillation. It's always, I can't do it, but I think there's an oscillation. You got to go up and down with it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, as I was walking up there, yeah, there's an up and down.
Chris, I'm reading this Little Red Book, and man, I gotta tell you, it's interesting, but at the same time, it's propaganda. Because it's, I don't know, it's neurally networking millions into stupidity. Welcome, Francisco. This is Meditation on Joy.
Thank you.
We are a cult of rejectionists and situationalists. We are refusing to continue the clubhouse dance of stupidity. We are here gathered together to meditate on joy. And we are doing that through what are called books.
Book. Didn't the ancients used to write them, right? They were something that people used to rely upon regularly.
Book.
I was on a plane, and I was forced, well, not forced, but I didn't have anything better to do, I guess, to watch the latest Planet of the Apes movie.
Wait, Francisco, you hate the Jews.
Yeah, I know that's kind of my reputation, and I'm not going to deny it, but
It's just a shtick.
There are other things that I do.
There are other things that he hates, like Planet of the Apes, like the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Planet of the Grapes.
Well, did you ever see Larry David's Sour Grapes?
No, see, like I too much of him is like, it's like trying to be entertained by a goblin.
Did you see Larry David talk about Hitler viewing a magic show?
I'm sure it was quite hilarious. You know, I watched him when he peed on the icon of Christ. That was Jewish.
That was fine, right? That's extreme sacrilege.
So funny, so funny. And then he probably was part of the same tribe of the guy who put the crucifix in a jar of urine in New York City, and they're like, "Oh, look at art."
So wait, you said you do other things as if you have different routines. Are you an actor?
Correct. Yes, a method actor. I try to get into the mind of the character from American History X, but sometimes when I'm in a dark place, I go to Michael Rappaport Higher Learning. You ever see that movie?
I think I saw it in a trans-accessible bathroom once.
That's a good place to see it with your fellow subhumans. I haven't talked to Abby in a long time. How are you doing, Abby?
Good, how are you? Have you been clipped or something?
No, but I'm sure that the time is coming. It seems like the app has become more philo-Semitic. At one point, it was tipping like back in at the height of the Kanye aftermath. It was like,
yeah.
But it's not that way anymore. Like the empire has struck back.
A lot of people left also.
Yeah, it is kind of boring. There's a lot of like ignoramus. There's a lot of ignoramus generally, but the black kind, I just find I don't even want to spend. I go in a room and I hear a black voice, and I just immediately leave. I don't care what they're talking about. It doesn't matter to me at all.
I agree with you. There's a lot of retarded rooms these days.
I don't know where everyone went. Probably X Spaces.
Yeah, even there, it's not entertaining. It's not like the old Clubhouse days,
Yeah, when at the pandemic, right? There was a lot of different people and actual intelligence. Where people, but now people are like, we'll experience real life. We don't need.
I'm happy for them. I bet real life is much more fun though.
Absolutely, it is.
More fulfilling.
I can unequivocally attest to that. I bear witness to the truth of that statement.
But you came back, so what made you come back?
Yeah, boredom, and you're just sitting here and I wonder what's going on Clubhouse. I don't have, no one's reacting to my Twitter posts. And my Telegram groups, they're people are ignoring me, so I'm like, where can a narcissist go to be the center stage? Clubhouse it is!
Yes, exactly. Welcome.
Thank you. So you're going to go to Iceland again? You're going to go back to Iceland?
Oh my gosh, you didn't forget? No,
I'm so jealous. Like, I want to go to Iceland and live among, 99.9% white people, and they're all uncircumcised.
Yeah, but these people are not like you.
No, of course not. Yeah, I'm
right, but they're totally different.
All right, I've got one for Francisco. I've got a message for you, Francisco, upon your return to Clubhouse.
Okay.
My message to you is, come on in. Welcome to my wormy hell. The music grinds off key. Fish eyes watch from the walls. This is where the last happy shot was fired. The mind snaps closed like a mind snapping closed. We need to discover a new will and a new way. We're stuck here now, listening to the laughter of the gods. My temples ache with the fact of the facts. I get up, move about, scratch myself. I'm a pawn. I am a hungry prayer. My wormy hell welcomes you. Hello there, Francisco. Come in, come on in. Plenty of room here for us all, sucker. We can only blame ourselves, so come sit with me in the dark. It's 9:30 everywhere.
It's a perfect poem for a Friday morning. Absolutely.
I wanted to add, I know you're Lutheran, and every time I see Lutheran church, I think of you. But the famous Lutheran church in Iceland, in Reykjavik, the capital city.
Oh, it's one of the most beautiful.
Yeah, it's very cool. But there's a huge gay flag going a ring of it, actually. Directing towards that church.
Exactly. It's called apostasy, and it's very ugly and it's very advanced among Christian nations that have abandoned their ancestors and their Christian faith. And it's not pretty. You know, it's like old covenant Israel, the old covenant Jews in the time of Christ, right? They had become so apostate that when God, who they are supposed to be worshiping, and they have the oracles of God, they have the temple where God is worshipped according to the law of Moses, and they have the Old Testament law and prophets, and they have the hereditary priesthood, and they even had their own semi-independent kingdom at the time of Christ. Yes, the Romans were over it all, but they still had their own kings, the Herodians. So anyway, they were so apostate, yet they thought that they were doing the will of God, that they murdered God in the flesh. They hated him, and they murdered him. And that's kind of how Christendom has become, although it seems to have made a comeback in Russia these days. So who knows? But as we hurtle toward potential nuclear Armageddon, and I just think of that R.E.M. song, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
Okay, I'm going to restart the laugh.